breaking news. Kind of like a big breaking news. Guys, brace for impact. You want to hear this. Go ahead, Rob.
Harris Walsh campaign co-chair speaking at the Harris Watch party. Let's listen.
Votes to count. We still have states that have not been called yet. We will continue overnight to fight to make sure that every vote is counted, that every voice has spoken. So you won't hear from the Vice President tonight, but you will hear from her tomorrow. She will be back here tomorrow to address not only the HU family, not only to address her supporters, but to address the nation. So thank you. We believe in you. May God bless you. May God keep you. And go HU and go Harris. Thank you all.
Cedric Richmond.
I mean, she's literally pulling the Hillary Clinton. And I want to say this, because I just asked this question. This actually bothers me about women in politics. Like, the 2 times that you've seen this, where they just go, I'm just too emotional to be able to come out and say anything, and I'm going to send a man out to just go, oh, we're not saying anything tonight because what? She's like crying in the back or freaking out. It's like, you know, come out, give a concession speech.
She's like jacked up on Xanax right now.
Yeah,
she's not giving any speeches tonight.
Fair point. But it's like there is something to me that's fundamentally weak about that. Like, there is a strength to losing and coming out and conceding and saying, it's not what we hoped. Giving your supporters who are going to be out there crying, holding their stuffed animals. Remember Hillary Clinton's scene? It was very sad the night she lost because they were all so convinced. And to not even address them. To say, at least if you're saying we're not going to concede, have the strength to come out and say that yourself. Say, listen, this race is not over. Say something reassuring. I find that to be fundamentally weak. And a further display of the reasons, the many reasons why she was never qualified to be the President of the United States of America.
I agree. I hope Kamala Harris never concedes and she storms the Capitol on January 6th by herself.
You know, something that I feel like wasn't brought up enough during her run on the media side, and Candace said, I actually want to hear your opinion on this. I don't believe, this goes back to foreign policy. Let's say America first. I don't think Kamala is fixing any issues here, but let's say she miraculously does. It's not a women's issue, it's a Kamala issue, because I actually think Hillary Clinton was well respected, believe it or not. But like, do you think any foreign leader will look at Kamala and be like, ooh, maybe we should listen to this girl. Maybe she should have a seat at the table. Do you think Putin's going to respect her? She, Hamas, Hezbollah, anyone? Will anyone look at her and be like, oh, maybe we shouldn't screw with the United States? Meanwhile, they look at Trump, and Trump's like, my button works better than yours. And Kamala's like too busy giggling. She probably doesn't know what foreign policy is. But that wasn't brought up. Like, I feel like nobody spoke about that because they call it, oh, a women hatred thing, a misogynist thing. But no, it's a Kamala thing, and everyone's scared to touch on it because I guess they're scared to get canceled. I don't know, but that scared me a lot. It still scares me.
Yeah. I mean, I would say we could have a long conversation about that because I actually have thought deeply about women in politics in general, like women as the President of the United States in general, and I think that there's a lot to talk about there that I'm not going to get into tonight because it's too controversial. But I do think that if you are going to be a candidate and you are going to be like, I'm going to be a female candidate, to be running on nothing, to be running on I'm just a woman, right? Like Hillary Clinton's hashtag was I'm with her. Now, she was much more capable than Kamala Harris, but when you see that all they're doing in all these speeches, when they're not saying why she's qualified, they're not saying why she's great, they're essentially saying, hey, this is a woman, like Taylor Swift's speech was on her Instagram feed, this is for the childless cat ladies. It makes women look like we are not qualified to be in leadership positions when they don't at least run.
What a great point.
Yeah, when they don't at least run with a little bit of gumption by saying, here are the policies, this is why I'm strong, this is my opinion about the border, here's what we got wrong, here's how we can fix the economy, let's talk about, you know, the numbers. We've seen a lot of weak women in politics, full stop, you know?
That makes a lot of sense. But by the way, I got to tell you, you know, if you look at right now the market, you know what is happening? I don't know how to explain this, but sometimes when somebody doesn't win for a city for a long time, and a kid is growing up watching nobody being able to win for that city, or come through for the family, or somebody watches their dad or their mom cleaning for someone's house, and they're getting disrespected, and this kid is saying, wait till you see when I grow up, Mom. They're gonna know. My dad was a 99-cent store cashier. He was just sitting here, he left, 82 years old. This guy should have been dead 30 years ago based on what the doctor said, right? But they disrespected my dad. And I told him, I said, Dad, one day I brought family over and I said, Dad, the world is going to know your last name. Everywhere you go, they're going to say, your son always talks about you. He goes to the doctor the other day, they're checking on his heart. He says, are you Mr. David? Yes. He says, your son always talks about you. Everywhere he goes, he gets that, right? Watch this. You'll see where I'm going with this. It's called a weave. Guys, there's been 2 massive failures of women running for president. There are ladies right now saying, you know what? I'm going to do it the right way.
Yeah.
2028, 2032, 2036, 2040, I don't know. I'm just saying, I think someone's going to come out and do something. But by the way, I've spoken to you about this. This is why I think Megan, I think some of the ladies right now that are getting loud and they're kind of pushing and challenging and talking about family, kids, the messaging that they're giving, respecting the husband, respecting the man, I think there's a major opening for an opportunity. I don't know if it's going to be 2028, 2032, or 36 or 40.
2035. I'm thinking about it. You know.
But I do think there's an opening for it. It's got to be someone that's fully pissed off, saying, stop embarrassing us so much. I'm going to do it the right way. And I think there's millions of kids that are waiting for this. Some of them are adults. Yes.
It has to be truth. It has to be, I don't want to say a masculine woman, but women genetically are more maternal, more caring, more empathetic.
Correct.
And if you're the president of the United States, you have to be a beast. Yeah. You can't be overly emotional. Oh, I can't address tonight. I'm too sensitive. Oh, I'm on my period. I'm hormonal. You can't have that.
You're
can't
100% right. I mean, if you think about Margaret
I wasn't going to be
Thatcher-
controversial, but
no,
you just
I did
went
it for
ahead.
you.
No, but I think
women have periods,
but
guys.
look, it is a weird thing that people have trouble being honest about this, and it's stuff that we all know. Look at Golda Meir, look at Margaret Thatcher. These were the most masculine women
And
you
that's
could
okay
imagine.
if it's a masculine woman.
Listen, it's a masculine position. It's commander-in-chief. What are we pretending that that's not like a masculine role? Listen, when I drive my 5-year-old to her kindergarten, if a male teacher answered the door, I'd be like, what? No. Who's that guy? Get him out of here.
No, but
it's a bunch of women because that's who I trust to teach my little girl.
Right.
I don't know. And I'm not saying no woman could be the president, but yeah, that is a hurdle to overcome, that you'd have to prove that you have that kind of like masculine characteristic, because it's not
I think Hillary was a bit masculine, not in a bad way, in a beast way.
Yes, she was.
Little bit, yeah.
And then she
It's
is
not
a
that
closet.
uncommon.
You know, she is butch closet. Everyone knows what she's up to. But the point is that is important to talk about, and I think that's one of the things that people are afraid to say because they're worried about the media and what are you saying that a woman can't. And this is one of the things actually that Dr. Jordan Peterson kind of brilliantly discussed when that viral clip of him when he was debating that woman, and she asked the question, you know, why are I'm making up a number here, 90% of the CEOs all men, and he said, why would a woman want to do that? Why would you want to work 80 hours a week? Why would you want to do these things? You make it seem like this is something that's admirable, like you should want to take on this job. And the reality is I very much believe in traditional roles. I think the majority of women are good at traditionally feminine roles. Hence your point about like if a guy was like, I just really want to be a nanny for kids. I'm like, I don't like it. I just don't like it. We naturally trust women to the care of children in the same way that we naturally trust men to the care of protecting us, protecting the nation, protecting us when something happens, protecting us if there's a break-in.
Well, look, man, it's as simple as like if someone was breaking into my house in the middle of the night, and I told my wife to go handle it.
Yeah, it's weird.
Everybody in this room would immediately, you just lose all respect for me. You're like, you're just a failure as a person.
Yeah.
Because we all understand that, like, no, in that situation, that's my job. That's my role.
I feel like
and so
Doug Emhoff asks Kamala to kill the spiders in the house. I feel like that's the type of dude he is.
You might be right about that. But there is something there where, and it's something that nobody talks about honestly, but women know this.
I
Like,
think
women know this more than men
about
do.
it. Because, like, you can't say I'm sexist. Like, I want to be in politics one day. But
by the way,
it's tricky when men speak about it.
I'm not going to lie to you. I was not expecting us to talk about women having periods at 1 o'clock in the morning. I didn't think that was going to be on the agenda.
I didn't.
You guys
But
totally
we're
threw
dressed
me
in
off.
red,
But
Pat.
there was something
Guys,
weird
we're following
about.
the teleprompter script, and you guys are throwing us off here, please.
But I was going to say there was something. I remember I was speaking to. I had Andrew Tate on my podcast earlier this year, and he said, "I don't know how to explain it, but there's something." And this, I'm directly quoting him here. He said, "But there's something really fundamentally gay about guys for Kamala." Right? He's like, I don't know what the right word is, and what he meant by that, he's talking
Who
about
said this?
Andrew Tate. But what he meant by that, he's like, it's a bunch of men saying, "I want this woman to be my boss. Like, I really want this woman, Kamala Harris, to be my boss." And there's something that is, I don't know, the dynamic of that is weird. For the men that are wearing the, like, men for Kamala shirts, like, you do look at it and you're like, you want Kamala to be your boss. Like, I don't know. It's a question that I think we're going to, a conversation that we're going to continue to have in America, especially with two failed female presidential candidates.
One of the best decisions I ever made in my life was joining the U.S. Army. When I served the 101st Airborne Division Air Assault, the level of pride of America being the greatest country in the world went to the roof. If you are a veteran, or if you support veterans, you have family members, Veterans Day, we have brand spanking new gear for you to choose from, a whole plethora of options of what to choose from, with shirts that say we support armed veterans, I am an armed veteran, dog tags, shirts, hats, all of the different gears that we have. And for the first 250 people that place an order, you have the option of 12 to 15 brand spanking new mugs that we have. One says Angry Patriot, another one says BizDoc, another one has got the U.S. flag, another one has PBD Podcast or Valuetainment or A Future Looks Bright. Go to vtmerch.com, place your order for Veterans Day. These things are going to go very quickly, and you'll get a custom mug that'll be sent your way.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.